I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're talking to Claudette Inglis about her remarkable book. It is called Heartfelt Expressions. She is a retired nurse and a U.S. citizen since 2008 and has worn many hats during the course of her life. A certified Christian minister, a graduate from New York Theological Seminary, and a passionate worshiper through dance and song. Her journey from her first poem penned for a church concert to finding solace in writing after a debilitating stroke showcases resilience and unwavering faith. Through her words, she hopes to bridge readers to the divine, urging introspection and the assurance of God's presence during life's trials and beyond. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Olympus Storyhouse for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to this channel and by purchasing this book, Heartfelt Expressions. Claudette, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Let's start out with the big picture. Let's tell the folks at home what the book Heartfelt Expressions is all about.
Heartfelt Expressions is a compilation of poems that I received through my sleep. And when I started writing, the first poem I wrote was for a concert. They asked me to write a poem. And then after that, I started receiving it through my sleep, receiving poem. So I decided to, have it published. And it was published in September of 22. The first name I had was, of the book was Poems to Warm the Heart. But on September 2nd of 2022, I received a name saying Heartfelt Expressions. So that's when I changed the name from Poems to Warm the Heart to Heartfelt Expressions.
Sounds great. Now, so you're at night, you're sleeping, and you wake up, you're inspired, or you had a dream, and the words just come to you?
Yes, and I write. I get up, I leave a book and a pen by my bedside. So I write as soon as I receive it. Because if I get up and put my foot on the ground, it leaves me.
Right, right.
Yes.
Now you say you receive it. Do you feel like this is kind of like divine inspiration that you're getting from God or Jesus?
Yes, I do. I do.
Wonderful, wonderful. And of all the poems in the book, do you have a favorite?
Mother, why do you weep? Why do you mourn?
And tell us a little bit about that poem.
I wrote this when I received this poem, and I wrote it, and I kept reading it over and over again. And I remember my mom with everything she was going through, and even for my children, how she was always praying and crying. And so I connected that poem to my mom.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So that's a beautiful connection you have with your mother as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Tell me a little bit about your work as a Christian minister and how it influenced your poetry.
With reaching out to people, you have the homeless, you have the hurt, the pain, the abuse, in every form or fashion. And when you go out and you see the people, or you just sit in your chair and you look around and see, what God has done, it makes you reflect and see the beauty of his work, and how we can reach out and embrace each other. This is what it is all about.
Absolutely. It's wonderful. Now, I mentioned in the lead into you that you became a U.S. citizen in 2008. What country did you emigrate from?
Originally, I'm from Curacao,
Okay.
My parents, my mom was from Curacao, my dad was from St. Lucia, the West Indies.
Mm.
And then I went to London, England, and I did nursing there.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came over here in 2007, that's when, I started nursing over here. But I was in England for 17 years.
Right.
So in 2008, I decided, well, I'm already here. I'm not going anywhere else. So
Exactly.
this is
Exactly.
my home.
Exactly.
So
And I can see why you love Florida now. You're used to beautiful places. Curacao and St. Lucia are both gorgeous island countries, right?
yes,
Yeah, with beautiful weather and
beautiful weather, beaches,
yeah,
everything.
and beautiful people too. Very nice people on
Yes,
both
thank you.
islands. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I understand you have a love for song and dance, and this kind of manifests itself in your writing. Tell me a little bit about your song and dance.
Well, I always wanted to dance, and with traveling, I was in New York, and then I moved out here. But when I moved to Florida, that's when I really started dancing.
Hmm.
Because when I was in New York and I tried to dance, something always went wrong with me. My knee was always out of sorts, so everything. When I moved over here, it was like a change in my whole body. Everything just started, and I just started dancing.
That's great.
Yes,
I
I
think
love
Florida
to
has that
worship.
healing effect. You
Yes, it
know,
does.
all the good sunshine, you're able to move more, you're able to walk more. There's no ice, there's no rain, there's no snow. I mean, there's rain, but
Yes,
there's no ice and there's no
yes.
snow. So it's a great place.
And
Now,
I just turned 72
oh,
on
wow,
the
I can't believe
22nd of
that.
September.
Well, you
Yes.
look at least a decade or two younger. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So whatever you're doing, keep on doing it because you look great. That's for
Thank
sure.
you.
Talk to me a little bit about the music that you love, jazz, gospel, and how they intertwine with your spiritual experiences.
With the jazz music, it does something to you when you listen to it. It stimulates your mind and your body, and when you have the gospel, and you with gospel, I do slow worshiping. I do
Mm,
worshiping, not the heavy, exciting music, but I love the soft gospel music
yeah.
that you can worship to. I love to worship with God.
Now, do you have a favorite blues or jazz artist?
Uh, there's so many of them.
Like Nina Simone or Dinah Washington or
Daniel Washington,
Ella
yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes, I
There's
love
so
Ella Fitzgerald.
yeah, so many beautiful voices. Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely. Chet Baker. There's so many wonderful voices in jazz. And I
voices,
feel the same way. It's kind of a creative type of music. It's not very
music.
uniform. The performances are from the heart. So yeah,
Yes.
I'm a big jazz and blues fan myself, so without a doubt, without a doubt. Tell me a little bit about your first poem, Christian Unity, and the message you were hoping to convey with that poem.
When I was asked to do this poem, they had a concert at the church. I was
Mhm.
in one church for 17 years, and they asked me, "Can you read a poem?" And I said, "Read a poem." And I said, "Okay." So I went home and I started writing.
Hmm.
And that's what I received. I started writing. And then when I went to the scripture, and I said, "Okay, this is Christian Unity." So I named it Christian Unity because it's
Wonderful.
talking about people coming together. And this was the first concert I hosted, and the church was packed. And
Wow.
I said, "Wow." I said, "Okay, God, thank you."
That's
So,
terrific.
yes, it
That's
is.
that's terrific. Now, your life hasn't been without challenges. You did have a stroke. Did that change the way you viewed life? Did it impact your writing? Tell us a little bit about that. You seem like you're fully recovered, thank God.
Yes.
Yeah.
I When I had the stroke in 2001, my left side was paralyzed. I couldn't close my hand. I couldn't, my leg was dragging. I was there.
Yeah.
And so I had to go to therapy, and I started, apart from going to therapy outside, I would put a ball in my hand and exercise my hand or do exercise with my legs. After 1 year, I went back to work. Exactly 1 year. In 2002, I went back to work. And then when I went back to work, I said, okay, now I started writing.
Yeah.
That's when the writing started flowing in. I was writing every night, every night, every night. I was writing a poem.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great. So you had a lot of poems to choose from for this book if you're writing every night. So I guess you had to go through all of your work and decided what would go in and what would stay out, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Two of the poems are Patience and Child's Plea. Can you tell us a little bit about those poems?
Patience. I've been going for a lot of challenges with my son, with addiction, and he I raised my kids on my own.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids and 3 living kids. And my oldest daughter went through her challenges too, mentally. And I have one daughter who's a teacher. But the thing is that if you don't have that patience, you won't be able to cope with anything.
Right.
If you don't have that connection with God, you won't be able to cope with anything. Because as they say, patience, patience is kind, patience is true. And you have to have that patience. And I ask God for patience all the time, but I didn't realize when you ask for patience, there's a lot that comes with it.
Right.
But I've come to the place from where I came from to now to understand that life will have challenges, but it's how we accept it or how we approach it and how we manage it and how we handle it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I understand the 23rd Psalm is very important to you. It's a comfort for you during challenging
It's a
times.
comfort.
And that's the Lord is my shepherd. There's nothing I
Shepherd,
shall want.
yes.
Yeah. Tell me about how
Yes.
that comforts you.
Because when he said, he is always there. Even though you go through the valley, he's always there. He's always supplying. He never leaves you. He never leaves your side. But we have to recognize that the Holy Spirit is around us. And no matter what the problems that we face in life, we cannot handle it. We just have to give it to him.
Yeah.
We worry, and that's what inflicts our body, our mind. But if we lean on him, everything else will be all right. Because people ask me, what do you do? How to look the way that you do? I said, the Almighty and my heart.
Yeah.
Because you have to have forgiveness in your heart and you have to have love in your heart.
Absolutely.
Because without that, you won't make it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel adversity and challenging times shape a person's connection with God?
Yes, it does. And people say, where is God in the midst of all this? But they say, why did God do that to me? But God has to get our attention. Because without anything happening, we wouldn't recognize that whichever God that we serve, that he is there.
Right.
He's always there.
Yeah. How do you hope readers will feel after reading your poems?
I feel that they will find comfort, their faith will grow, they will get a peace of mind, and seek the God that I know who's always there with us.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there any personal experiences that influenced your writing, whether it's a specific poem or just your writing in general?
I've gone through a lot of hardships, um, which I have another book that I have written.
Hmm.
So, in the midst of writing that book, I was still receiving my other poems. So, because of the challenges I went through as a sexual abuse victim,
Hmm.
so I have another book that has still been revised along with Heartfelt Expressions. They both were published consecutively, one behind each other.
Tell us the
And
name of another book.
the other book is God's Grace, Not My Disgrace.
Hmm.
And
And you think this will help people who have been abused or people who have gone through, tough times in life, I'd
tough
imagine.
times,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
because I feel now I have a voice. I didn't have a voice before.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through that from the childhood up to adulthood. And it was tough.
Yeah.
But I never turned to alcohol or drug addiction
Yeah.
or anything of that sort. I was promiscuous, yes, but I didn't have any of these challenges. So, yes, it is. I'm happy I was able to bring that book out
Right.
because without without God, we cannot do anything.
Hmm.
It gives people that voice to speak up, no matter what you're going through. Before
Absolutely.
they said you have to keep quiet, but now everybody's coming out, so we have to come out and let other people know that you don't have to stay in your pain. You don't have to wallow in your pain because we make ourselves a prisoner.
Yeah.
We get introverted. We get, you know, locked into ourselves, depression, anxiety from not being able to express what we're going through for fear of hurting someone else. But in the midst, we are hurting ourselves.
Yeah.
So,
How important is prayer in your life?
very important.
Yeah.
Very important. First thing, anything I go through, I pray. I wake up in the night, I pray. Because my grandmother raised me, and she was a businesswoman. And no matter what, you were raised Catholic. And she got up, she died at the age of 86. But when she
Mm.
got up in the morning, she had an altar up there and she prayed. She went to the church and she came back, opened the business. 12 o'clock, she was at church again, 6 in the evening, and she dragged me along. I had to go to church before I went to school.
Right.
So it is important, very important.
Yeah. 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 It keeps you grounded, keeps you at peace. I think
At
it keeps
peace.
you happy. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Tell me about your involvement with the Sons and Daughters of Durham.
When I was going to the church, they started a group. It was 5 men and one of lady.
Mhm.
And actually it started as Sons of Durham. And when one of the gentlemen, his son passed away, the mother stepped in. So it became Sons and Daughter of Durham. And we used to go around singing from church to church. But I was the one who was getting the contacts to them to get to place from one place to another
Mhm.
for the community. And then they said they wanted to have the concert. So I hosted the concert And with that, that's when they asked me to write a poem. So everything stemmed from being part of them and from one thing to the next.
Yeah.
Which brings me to this place.
Exactly. It's amazing how one decision, one thought, one action will shape your entire life and shape your creative expression. Well, everything you're doing right. We love your book. It's called Heartfelt Expressions. It's written by Claudette Inglis. It is an amazing book of poetry that will touch your life. She has been through a lot in her life. She shares her experiences through these very, very inspired works of poetry. And I think if you read them, you'll be able to reflect upon your own life and strengthen your connection with God, with Jesus. It's a lovely book indeed. Absolutely.
It's available on my website, which I have.
Mm-hmm. And the name of your website is?
empoweringBooksForLife.com.
empoweringbooksforlife.com. Wonderful. We will have that link underneath this interview so you can click it. You can order Claudette's book. It's a book you'll want to hold on to. It's a book you'll want to order for the friends and family in your life. Christmas season's coming up. I can't think of a better gift. Claudette, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
For having me.
Oh, truly a pleasure speaking with you. You're a delightful person. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.